Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee, Books, and Rain, where we are having a struggle bus sort of day with our hair because humidity is a real thing here in northern Alabama. We have had rain for approximately 2 solid weeks-ish, and today, I don't know why, I decided to curl my hair because it didn't say rain in the forecast. Silly me for not checking the humidity. Like, I haven't lived in the South 90% of my life. Walked outside. Curls did not last more than 5 minutes, and this is what I've been left with. So just know that curls, no matter what you put on them, will almost not last in the South. I did not want helmet head, so I just sprayed a medium texture spray, which did nothing. So, this is where we're at. So we're just gonna pat down some little flyaways and we're gonna move right along and we're gonna have a really good day, aren't we? But today we are talking about What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. Ibanez? I am so sorry for probably butchering that last name. You say things inside of your brain and you feel like, man, when I say this out loud, I feel like I'm going to nail it. And then you say it out loud and you're like, oh no, that was not it. That is what just happened. So, Miss Isabel, I truly apologize for that. That didn't come out the way I thought it was going to. But we are talking about What the River Knows. And this book was a book that I had originally requested on NetGalley. Now, I don't know if you guys know how NetGalley works, but as an individual who creates content for social media, as kind of a blogger, so this is kind of considered blog media. So I went onto NetGalley and I applied to, receive advanced reader copies. Let them know, this is what I tend to do when I receive advanced reader copies. And they'll kind of let me receive some or, yes or no on advanced reader copies, on ARCs. However, I don't always get approved, and that is okay. I would say I probably receive 90% of what I apply for. But that's okay if I don't receive the other 10%. I probably over-apply anyway, and I would probably inundate myself if I received everything I applied for. So it's probably a good thing I don't always get everything I ask for. Sometimes I don't hear back, and sometimes the dates just pass. And sometimes I do get emails that just say, hey, your request was declined. I don't take it to heart. I don't take it personally. But this is a book that I did not receive an advanced reader copy for. And so when it came out, I finally got around to just going ahead and getting an Audible or using an Audible credit to read it. And so I still wanted to do an episode on it. Now, this book came out October 31st of 2023, so it's not yet been a year that this book has come out, but we do have a sequel coming out before too long. So let me see when the next book comes out, because I know, let me see. I'm going to try to see if we can see when her next one comes out. Where the River Hides, Secret of the Nile is expected to come out November of this year. Okay. I do actually think I may have a request in for that one, but we'll see if I'm approved or not. Again, if I'm not, that's okay. If I am, then I guess maybe it will hinge on this review. I never know. And again, they either have a certain amount of reviews or advanced reader copies they can give out. They may only give it to people who have X number of followers or subscribers. They may have certain criteria, parameters that I don't quite meet. All of which is perfectly fine. none of which truly is going to hurt my feelings. But let's dive in because we are already kind of into this episode a minute. Bolivian Argentinian Inez Oliveira belongs to the glittering upper society of 19th century Buenos Aires. And I can't roll my tongue very well, I apologize. And like the rest of the world, the town is steeped in old world magic that's been largely left behind or forgotten. Inez has everything a girl might want except for the one thing she yearns for the most: her globe-trotting parents who frequently leave her behind. When she receives word of their tragic deaths, gosh, maybe I need to lay off the coffee for like 5 minutes. Inez inherits their massive fortune and a mysterious guardian, an archaeologist in partnership with his Egyptian brother-in-law. Yearning for answers, Inez sails to Cairo, bringing her sketch pads and an ancient golden ring her father sent to her for safekeeping before he died. But upon her arrival, the old world magic tethered to the ring pulls her down a path where she soon discovers there's more to her parents' disappearance than what her guardian led her to believe. With her guardian's infuriatingly handsome assistants thwarting her at every turn, Inez must rely on ancient magic to uncover the truth about her parents' disappearance or risk becoming a pawn in a larger game that will kill her. So this is described as The Mummy meets Death on the Nile in this lush, immersive historical fantasy set in Egypt, filled with adventure, rivals to lovers, romance, and a dangerous race. So it was the fact that it was The Mummy meets Death on the Nile that really kind of clinched it for me as something I wanted to read. I am a huge fan of Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. Love that series, especially the ones with Rachel Weisz in it. So good. Me and my mom, such fans. And then to come over and go Death on the Nile, and I believe that's Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot. Not the greatest with French patois, whatever that dialect is, but love the kind of mystery behind that story. And this is kind of described as historical fiction, mystery, and romance. And even though I'm not always the biggest fan of romance, I love a good mystery. Now, the one thing, and I think this is why I gave it 4 stars and not 5, because it missed the mark for me on this. It is super heavy into the romancy part. And the fact that Inez, the main female character, acts very childish 90% of the time. There are so many points in this book that I want her to act more grown up, and all she's doing is acting very childish. I don't believe her to be grown up, even though she's trying to tout her personality of being grown up. And so I think those were probably why I gave it 4 stars instead of the full 5, because she's trying to convince everyone that she's grown, but she's doing nothing to convince even me as the reader that she's grown. And so I think that was where I kind of found it falling a little flat for me. It's I could definitely see myself loving this story, loving the mystery of ancient Egypt. You've got me hooked when you tell me ancient Egyptian mystery, you tell me archaeological, searches and digs, you, Alexandria, you've got me hooked. But then you give me a character that is going to be waif-like, that's going to be, So when you tell me The Mummy, and we've got Rachel Weisz's character, who is kind of this librarian, she is by no means like waif-like. She will pull out a spear and stab you if if she needs to, it seems like, especially in some of the later movies. But that's just it. Is like, I don't feel like this character. I feel like she would have just like fainted should the need arise. So I want to see some growth from this particular character as we move forward into some of the other, like, I don't know how many books this might be, if it may just be a duology, if what. But I would love to see her grow in her own kind of standing. That would be phenomenal for me. I feel like I have a hair that's attacking me. That's probably where I would love to see it, because everything else, fantastic. The atmosphere of the book, talking about the bazaar and like the vibes of the street markets, all of that gorgeously done. Like, I can just picture these beautiful scenes in my head. The nefarious sort of dealings of individual characters. But then her on the train when this guy comes in and he's all like, and I don't want to like reveal too much, even though this book has been out, but she's wearing a ring that her father gave her, and this guy literally plucks the ring off her finger, and she just lets him. Like, I'm sorry, but absolutely not. When the conductor or whoever comes in, the guy still keeps the ring. I don't think so, sir. No, we're going to have some words. So, like, this girl is far too passive to, like, yeah, maybe her uncle's right. Maybe she just needs to go home. But that's also part of, like, the description, part of the summary that was not really described well either, is that, like, her uncle is her, like, the trust person. He's the one who's like literally got control of her money, and what I worry is that he's spending all her money, and that when it comes down to giving her money, when it's like when she's due it, and which I don't know when that would be, she's not going to have any money left because he will have spent it all. So I mean, I get that she's in Cairo because she wants to know what happened to her parents. That is pretty clear. However, she's not presented as an assertive enough character, as a strong enough character. Now, she doesn't have to be Lara Croft Tomb Raider, but does she need to be like Evie? I think Evie from The Mummy, a little bit more gung-ho and a little bit more willing to just get the job done. Absolutely. Like, Inez, she'll sneak out of her room, that's fine, but it's like when she gets caught, she just wilts like a flower, instead of like she lets herself get robbed, and she lets herself get manhandled, and she lets things happen to her. And I think that's my biggest problem with her, is she just lets things happen to her without like taking her life into her own hands and kind of trying to take control. I think that's my biggest issue, is I don't like women who do that. So I think that's where I gave that 4 stars, is I'm just like, I'm having such an issue with this character, and I want to like her because there are some points where I do like her. There's some points where, like, I'm feeling it. So maybe it's probably a good thing that I didn't get this as an arc, but I'm hopeful. I really am hopeful for the second book. Not to say that I need to get it as an arc, but I'm hopeful for the second book that we're going to see some growth in this character, that we're going to see the story continue, and that we're going to get a little bit more of a richer story, because I think we were very heavy-handed in this like enemies to lovers part of it, that we didn't really focus enough on building the actual mystery. and I wanted to focus a little bit more on the mystery. So that's my thoughts. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you think, and I will see you guys on the next page. Have a great one.